But overall, Greensboro is a great place to live, but knowing what to expect can kind of help you decide if it's the right fit for you. Are you thinking about moving to Greensboro, North Carolina? Maybe you've been researching the housing market, job opportunities, or you're just wondering what life is like here in 2025. Well, let me tell you something. A lot has changed. So if you've watched some of my older videos, then you're going to want to stick around for this one because today we are going beyond the basics. I will share what is happening right now in Greensboro, the real estate market, the job scene, the cost of living, and some things that people don't talk about when moving here. So I want to start off by saying I have lived in Greensboro my entire life and I love it here. And I have helped people relocate here all the time. So if you're looking for real practical insight on what it's like to actually live here, then this video is for you. And before we jump in, I need you to do me a couple favors. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my weekly updates on real estate and life in Greensboro. So now let's jump into the video. So let's start with the housing market because if you're considering moving here, then this is probably one of the biggest questions that you got. And the real estate market has changed quite a bit. So in 2024, the median home price for a property here in Greensboro was around $280,000. And as of January 2025, that number has jumped to $314,900. And that's a significant increase in just 1 year. But here's why that's happening. Greensboro's population is growing. We are now at 304,279 people. Woohoo! And more people are moving here because it's affordable compared to other North Carolina cities. Inventory is still low and there's not enough homes available to meet the demand, and that's kind of what's driving up those housing prices. Interest rates are fluctuating and buyers are trying to lock in homes before they rise again. So, is it still affordable to buy here? Yes, but it depends. Compared to cities like Charlotte, Raleigh, or Durham, Greensboro is still one of the most affordable places to own a home in North Carolina. And if you're considering buying, my advice is to act sooner rather than later because prices will continue to rise. And if you need help navigating the market, feel free to reach out. I would love to assist you. So a lot of people move to Greensboro because of its reputation of being an affordable city. But is it still true in 2025? And here's what you need to know. Housing costs have gone up like we just talked about, but so have rental prices. The average price to rent a one-bedroom apartment is now about $1,500 a month, while a three-bedroom home rental is averaging around $2,200 a month. Utilities are still pretty reasonable. You can expect to pay, around $150, maybe $200 for electricity. Depending on where you live in North Carolina, will determine your cost for water. But on average, you can expect to pay about $50 a month for water. And your internet, I would say about $75 a month for internet. Groceries and gas are lower than the national averages. Gas prices are currently hovering around $2.99 per gallon, which is better than many other states, and that is at the time of this video. And I'm recording this in the end of February. So taxes remain relatively low. North Carolina's property taxes are still below the national average, which makes homeownership more attractive. So while Greensboro is still a great place for cost-conscious buyers, prices are rising, so it's important to budget accordingly. So if you are moving to the area for work, Greensboro's job market is expanding, especially in certain industries. So here are some of the biggest employers and growing industries here in 2025. Companies like Honda, Jet, and Volvo are continuing to thrive. Cone Health remains one of the largest employers in the region for healthcare. Then you have industries like tech and logistics. More companies are moving into Greensboro for distribution and supply chain operations. You got retail and corporate headquarters like the Fresh Market, which is headquartered right here in Greensboro, and they are actually expanding. The job market is very competitive. So if you're moving here for work, start your job search early. Remote work is also growing, and Greensboro is becoming a hotspot for people who work remotely while enjoying that lower cost of living. So now let's talk about the lifestyle, because this is something that doesn't always show up in the numbers. So here are a few pros of living here in Greensboro, and that's the community is very welcoming. Greensboro has a mix of city life and small town charm. So people here are usually very friendly, and there's a strong sense of local pride. There's access to nature, you have parks, lakes, greenways, which makes it really easy to enjoy outdoor activities. Lake Brant and Burmill Park are popular spots for hiking, biking, and even kayaking. So we also have cultural activities from the International Civil Rights Museum to the Greensboro Science Center. There is plenty to do if you love history and you just enjoy learning. So traffic here in Greensboro is pretty minimum. So unlike places like Charlotte or Raleigh or even Durham, you usually can get to where you need to go pretty quickly and you won't be sitting in traffic for hours. Most places are within a 20 to 30 minute drive, which is really great. You can get from one part of the city to the other in less than 30 minutes. So that's always a plus. But just like with everything, where there's pros, there are cons. So here are a few cons about living in Greensboro. So the main one to me is the weather. So the weather can be very unpredictable. I want to start because I'm filming this in the winter. So today the temperature is kind of, I wouldn't say cold, but it's not mild. I was like, we are maybe going to get up to like 45 degrees. And that's kind of average for a winter here in Greensboro. Tomorrow, the high is going to be closer to 50, maybe even 55 degrees. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have a winter storm. It's going to snow. We're going to get ice. We're going to get freezing rain. We're going to get all of that stuff. So on Tuesday, the weather's like 55 degrees. It's sunny. It's beautiful. And then the very next day, we're barely going to get out of the 30s. No. We're not even getting out of the 30s. We're barely going to get out of the 20s. And we're going to get like 2 to 4. Well, they hadn't officially called it, but they say we may get 2 to 4 inches of snow. We might get some ice. So it's just, the weather is very unpredictable here. So summers, they're hot, they're humid. You have thunderstorms. It's uncommon, but you can see tornadoes. There have been a tornado or two that have touched down in Greensboro during the spring and summer months, but not terrible. Winters, like I was just talking about, they can bring ice and snow, but it's not often. Before this winter, like I was saying, we have had a stretch where we are getting a lot of, let me take that back. It's not a lot of snow. We're getting snow, like maybe an inch. So let me think. We started seeing this in January. So it's like every week or every other week, we'll have like some snow in the forecast. That is not normal for Greensboro or even for North Carolina. This part of North Carolina. In the mountains, common, but in the Triad, not so much. But this winter, we have really been seeing a lot more snow and things like that. But before this stretch, we went a couple years without any snow. So, if you are a snow lover, then Greensboro may not be the best place for you. But, we will get those little bursts of snow, which is exciting. The kids get excited. Some of the adults get excited. But it's something that doesn't happen every single winter. So spring in Greensboro is very pleasant. The temperatures are nice. It's just really peaceful. However, there are those occasional thunderstorms and those tornadoes that could kind of pop up, but they are not common. Very, I would say rare, but don't be surprised. And it's definitely something to think about. And another con of living here in Greensboro is limited nightlife compared to your bigger cities. Now, I will say there are activities happening at night. We do have in my opinion, a nice nightlife. But if you're really into the nightlife scene, then Greensboro may be a little limited and you may have, better luck with your nightlife activities in Charlotte or Raleigh. So another con is public transportation. It's kind of lacking a little bit. So if you don't have a car, it can be a little hard to get around the city. We do have the ride sharing options. You have Uber and all of that stuff. And we do have public transportation, but it's not as developed and robust as some of your larger cities. But overall, Greensboro is a great place to live, but knowing what to expect can kind of help you decide if it's the right fit for you. And that's why so many people are moving to Greensboro. So over the past year, I have worked with a lot of clients who are relocating to Greensboro, and the reasons are pretty consistent: affordability, lifestyle, and job opportunities. And I want to share two stories about my recent clients who have made that move to Greensboro. So one family came from Virginia and they were tired of the winters, the snowy winters, and they kind of wanted a slower, more relaxed pace of life. They worked remotely and wanted a home, where they could have more space, a yard, and a great community for their kiddos without those high prices that they were seeing in Virginia. And Greensboro kind of checked all of their boxes. And then I worked with a healthcare professional from Tennessee, and she lived there for years, but the rising costs made it hard for her to afford to purchase a home. And after researching job opportunities, she realized that Greensboro offered competitive salaries in healthcare, but with a much lower cost of living. So instead of her renting an expensive apartment in Tennessee, she was able to buy a 3-bedroom home here in Greensboro that was within her budget. And the reason why I'm sharing these stories is because they are not unique. More and more people are choosing Greensboro because homes are still very affordable compared to your major cities. The cost of living is lower, including gas, groceries, and taxes. So, my final question for you is Greensboro the right choice for you? So if you are looking for affordable living, job opportunities, and a community-oriented city, then Greensboro is a fantastic choice. But there's always a but. But if you are looking for a fast-paced city, a huge nightlife scene, or that extensive public transportation, then you may want to consider, another city. But no matter what, making an informed decision is key. And if you are considering moving here, I would love to help you find that perfect home. Make sure you reach out anytime with your questions, and make sure you subscribe for weekly updates on Greensboro or just the overall real estate market. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. You take care. Bye-bye.